welcome to Northwest Moto Garage. This is my shop that I've owned for a couple years now. We're a motorsport repair shop and things are finally starting to pick up again. During the holidays, things definitely slow down and people are using a lot of their money for gifts, but now that the holidays are over and it is the new year, people are finally able to start getting their stuff back in the shop. We got a Polaris Sportsman, KX250, a couple of scooters, nice little custom bike over there. If anybody knows what frame this is, not even the customer knows what frame this is. They said it's a Suzuki engine, but beyond that, if anybody can tell me what this is from, that would be super helpful. But you guys aren't here for that, so let's get back into the build series, clean up these cases, transfer over some bearings, and get ready to put this bottom end back together. So here we are back over at the engine case. We're gonna wanna remove these studs, transfer those over to the new engine case, remove all the oil seals on this side, and anything that could be potentially damaged on this side that we need to transfer over. Now in order to save some money, we are gonna be reusing these transmission bearings here, as well as some of the bearings that are on this side. In the interest of longevity though, we did end up buying some new crank bearings. Those obviously receive the most amount of stress and wear in the bottom end. So since we're already all the way down here, we might as well replace those, start fresh. That way it can put my mind at ease knowing that we've started with a good fresh base. Now, in case some of you guys were wondering, this check valve here, if it does fail, it can cause a lot of overfilling of the engine oil on the engine side, pushes it up through the breather. I've already done a lot of research there, so we did end up replacing this too, just as a future preventative maintenance item. However, I don't want to put this with a bunch of heat just in case it melts down and creates a bunch of mess or just stinks up the place. When it comes to removing seals, which one's better? You guys let me know. They make this little tool for it. A screwdriver works just as well. I mean, honestly, even when it comes to not damaging your cases, which we don't really care about this, but when it comes to not damaging your cases, at least this has a bit broader of a surface on it, so you're not gouging anything when you're prying against it. Really, we should have, you know, a folded up rag here, do this, gently pry it apart. Again, we're just junking this case, but I don't know, you tell me, which one do you like better? One more thing. Can't forget the oil jet for the piston. Okay, so I just took out that oil jet and I have to show you. Look at that. There's a piece of metal that was just stuck in there. Now I'm sure it didn't completely block the flow, but I'm sure it restricted it a little bit. Huh. Well, if you ever have your bottom end torn down, go ahead and take that out just in case, even if you're not replacing the case, and blow some air through that. Huh, that's wild. So if you're ever attempting this job on a CRF, you'll like to know the bearings that are, there's a set of 2 bearings that are in here, a set of 2 bearings that are in there, and then this transmission bearing here. All of those come pre-installed in the new case. This is the way that I got it in the mail from the factory. We've already got the bearings there, the bearings inside, and this one here again. So my guess is just this one's super delicate, so I'd imagine they want you to set that. And these here, they're actually separated by, you know, a good 1/8 inch. So my guess is the trouble of trying to explain to any shop or customers that wanted to do that on their own would be just too difficult and end up messing things up. They just go ahead, do it right there on the assembly line so they can ensure proper installation. Pretty nice of them. Into the barbecue she goes, and with the magic of editing, just like that, all the bearings are in the new case. Now it's time to put in all of our seals, set them to the correct depths, that way we can move on and get our studs put in. All right, so while I was waiting for those cases to heat up, I just wanted to check out this transmission here. And I noticed, can you see how this whole dog here is completely rounded over? Not only is this corner completely rounded at a 45-degree angle, the whole dog here from this side over to here is rounded over. This is not just dirt and material, that's actually folded over metal. Let's take a closer look at it. It's all mushroomed out, both sides. Oh yeah, you can really see that good shot of it there. Look at just how rounded over that is. And here's the gear it meshed with. This is actually 5th gear, and these are what the dogs go into. And you see how shiny and polished and rounded over all of those are. If you're ever curious what gears look like when they need to be replaced, this is it. Go ahead and reference this video. That is so bad. I wonder if this bike ever even shifted into 5th, and if it did, how long it stayed in there. I bet you this thing popped out of 5th gear easily. I guess it's reason number 2 why it wasn't so bad we had to tear this all the way down. So this here is 3rd gear and this is 5th gear, and when 5th gear is engaged, these lock together. And over time, when it slips so many times, I mean, I can even do it so easily. Just putting pressure on them, it already wants to jump out and slip out without 50 horsepower behind it. I can only imagine what that would actually do on the bike. So we'll have to get some new gears, which means we're gonna be delayed. We might get them in by the end of this video, but that's unlikely. So we've got our left case half here. All the bearings are installed, so now it's time to add in our snap ring here, do our seals here. With the crank bearing specifically, I know that the seal has to be set to a certain depth. The manual says 1 millimeter below the sealing surface here. Just long as it is below the surface, at least a millimeter, we should be good. I've actually had to tear into a bottom end of a CRF before because the seal that goes in here has actually backed out. It squeezes out and then it makes contact with your flywheel here and then gets shredded. So we're just gonna measure this with our caliper, and there we go, 1.2 millimeters. This here is actual seal grease. This here won't eat into the rubber, specifically designed to be harmless to any sort of rubber chemical. Sometimes if you just use a petroleum grease, that will actually eat your seals and do you more harm. Most of the time you're okay, but it's just sometimes good to get specific seal grease. Here with the balancer shaft seal, this one gets installed 0.25 to 1.95 millimeters below the surface. We're at 1 millimeter there, that'll be perfect. The counter shaft oil seal, this one is just like the crank bearing. It just needs to be 1 millimeter below, plus or minus half a millimeter. 1.38, looking good. Now we just have our clutch arm seal. Now we're just gonna reinstall this oil jet. Some red Loctite on there. Now we'll thread in these studs. All right, and lastly, we've got to put these keepers in. This bearing, a little bit of red locking agent. And these are torqued to 10 Newton meters. Alright, that's it for case number 1. Let's move to the next one. So I'm gonna start off by cleaning the gasket surface on this side and on this side. I'm gonna leave the seals in place right now, just so that when the new ones don't get damaged during the cleaning process. I just had to stop the video. I just got a text that Ken Block just passed away in a snowmobile accident. I didn't know him personally, but I definitely knew of him. I don't know, that's just crazy. He was way too young. An action sport hero, icon. He's definitely gonna be missed. I know a lot of you are gonna feel exactly the same way. Alright, so to get back into this, we went ahead and cleaned both gasket sealing surfaces on the inside and on the outside. And I even removed the studs up here so I could get a better angle at the sealing surface for the base gasket. I then went ahead and gave this whole case a nice wash. We used an aluminum brightener to try and see if it would get rid of some of these stains. So since I didn't show you how I clean these gasket surfaces, I've got this flat sanding block here. This is 400 grit sandpaper and it comes in a roll. And then in order to lubricate it so we're not leaving any deep scratches, I just use this Amlo glass cleaner here. And this sanding block is long enough here to reach across the entire engine case. That way, if I'm sanding from one side, it's got a reference from the other. I don't put any sort of deep grooves or deep scratches, making the case kind of uneven. As I mentioned before, I did order a new main crank bearing. So let's go ahead, remove these keepers, get this pressed out, and install our new bearing. Heating up those bolts really helps to melt the Loctite that's in there so you can remove them a little easier. All right, let's see if we get lucky. Oh, easy. Doesn't take long for that heat to transfer. Already stuck in there. Well, that's kind of fun. And with that, both cases are completely prepped and ready for the bottom end. However, due to our transmission issue, we can't do that yet. So that's gonna have to wait till next video. Stay tuned. Hopefully we get the bottom end transmission in, and if everything goes smoothly, even complete the top end for next video. So stay tuned. I look forward to that. Both of these are completely prepped with both sealing surfaces on this case, new crank bearings, new seals. It's gonna feel really good to start fresh and to actually have a fifth gear. So before I end off this video, I want to let you guys know it is Friday before the first race of Supercross. Tomorrow is Saturday. We got A1 going on. If any of you follow, you probably also know there's a fantasy league from rmfantasy.com. I actually have my own league. If you wanted to join it, the group is called Moto Heads, M-O-T-O space heads. So if you already watch Supercross and you're already a part of the fantasy league, go ahead and look me up. If you're not, it's pretty simple. Just go to rmfantasy.com, sign up, make an account, look for me. We got a dashboard there, really easy way to get a hold of me and talk to me. I'd love to get a big group going so that way we can compete throughout the season, have a good time with it, and grow the channel and the sport even more. All right, so I apologize. A little bit of a boring video for you guys today. Not the most entertaining thing to watch with some bearings and seals going in, but I hope you enjoyed. Last video got a ton of views. Thank you so much. Things are really growing fast around here. I look forward to this whole build series being done. Can't wait to ride the bike, and I'm so excited to share it all with you. But that's it for now. Keep an eye out for the next video to drop. Ride safe and live moto. But things really got messed up with our bottom end transmission. There is no top end transmission, so why would you say that?